Heads of the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the World Trade Organization called on G20 members to take actions to reinvigorate trade. The heads of the three international organizations made the remarks in a joint statement. It said, quote, "Deeper trade integration twinned with supported domestic policies can help boost incomes and accelerate global growth. This calls for decisive actions by world leaders gathering for the G20 summit this week." The statement also said the pace of opening for trade has largely stalled since the early 2000s, with too many existing trade barriers and other policies that favor domestic industries and new barriers being created. They called on countries to remove trade barriers and reduce subsidies and other measures to distort trade. In April, the three organizations published a joint paper which found that increased trade integration has helped to drive economic growth, enhance productivity, lower prices, and improve living standards. UK household income faces the biggest decline for more than 5 years. The Economy Report has more.
According to the Office for National Statistics, real household disposable incomes in the UK are falling at their steepest rate since 2011, mainly due to the inflation rise. The amount that families have to spend after tax and benefits are taken into account fell by 2% in the first quarter of this year compared to 2016. The real household disposable income measure is adjusted for inflation, meaning that rises in the cost of living result in lower disposable income. Over the same period, wages rose by just 2.1%. Real household income per head has now fallen for the 3 months in a row, the first time that has happened since 2013. However, a different measure of income which reflects the wider strength of the economy showed an improvement. Net national income per head, the economy's earning divided by the number of adults, rose by 4.3% in the year to the end of March. This was because of an increase in earnings from abroad, also driven by a fall in the value of sterling.
According to the CBI, the UK should stay in the single market and customs union until a final Brexit deal is in force. Economy Report explains.
Caroline Fairbairn, head of the business lobby group, said it was impossible that all the details of a new trade deal with the European Union would be in place by March 2019. That is when talks about the UK's withdrawal are due to formally finish. She said to minimize disruption, UK businesses need a bridge instead of a cliff edge for the new deal. According to the CBI, businesses are delaying investment because of the uncertainty. British government said it was working with businesses to ensure the Brexit process was smooth. The CBI said businesses fear they could be forced to adapt twice, first to a transitional arrangement and then to the final trade deal. Reports said a survey of CBI members found that 40% had reduced investment plans due to Brexit uncertainty. The CBI said the urgency is simply growing. The CBI's proposal was backed by a range of business bodies, including from retail, aerospace, and manufacturing. Business groups have increased their costs in recent weeks for the UK to maintain existing trading relations with the EU.
The European Union and Japanese leaders announced in Brussels on Thursday that they have concluded the political agreement on reaching an EU-Japan free trade deal. European Council President Donald Tusk, European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker, and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe addressed a press conference following the 24th EU-Japan summit.
Today, we agreed in principle on the future economic partnership agreement. The depth of this agreement goes beyond free trade. Its impacts goes far beyond our shores. It makes a statement about the future of open and fair trade in today's world. It sets the standards for others, and it shows that closing ourselves off the world is neither good for business, nor for the global economy, nor for workers.
According to the statement, the EU-Japan EPA will constitute the basis for a strategic partnership for free and fair trade.
Prior to the G20 summit in Hamburg tomorrow, where discussions on the world economy will take place, we were able to demonstrate a strong political will, and Japan and the EU will hold the flag of free trade high amid protectionism trends.
The European Union firmly believes in the political purpose of a world which is built on openness, cooperation, and trade.
Japan is the EU's second biggest trading partner in Asia. Japan and the EU together account for more than a third of the world economy. According to EU figures, the EU exports over 80 billion euros worth of goods and services to Japan every year, and more than 600,000 jobs in the EU are tied to exports to Japan. The two sides launched free trade talks in March 2013 and are expected to conclude the technical negotiations by the end of this year. Italy's ailing Monte dei Paschi di Siena Bank has unveiled on Wednesday a 5-year restructuring and recapitalization plan from 2017 to 2021.
The Texan bank stated that the plan included shedding a total of $32.4 billion worth of non-performing loans, shutting down 600 out of 2,000 branches, and cutting 5,500 jobs. The plan further sees precautionary recapitalization of $9.2 billion, of which $4.3 billion from burden sharing and the rest from the Italian Treasury. MPS said it plans to securitize the lion's share of its bad loans, or 26 billion euros worth, and sell them to the private Atlantic Fund at 21% of gross book value by the first half of next year. The plan further sees precautionary recapitalization of 8.1 billion euros, of which 4.3 billion from burden sharing and 3.9 billion from the Italian Treasury. MPS said it expects to post net profit of at least 1.2 billion euros by 2021 by following this plan. Several Italian banks have come under pressure on the financial markets after bad loans accumulated on their balance sheets during the economic crisis.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says his country plans to invest around $3.4 billion this year in developing information technologies.
Putin made the remarks at a meeting of the Council for Strategic Development and Priority Projects. The meeting was convened to examine a program for building up a digital economy by 2024. Putin said that the formation of a digital economy is a matter of national security and independence for Russia and of competitiveness of domestic companies. He noted that Russia has made significant progress in many areas of digital development in the last few years. By early 2017, the Russian market for commercial data storage and processing centers had grown to over $240 million. The president said that the country has to create an effective mechanism to implement the complex project of developing its economy, unprecedented in its scope, significance, and impact on the life of the country and every individual.
With its lush savannas, golden beaches, and iconic wildlife, Africa is a dream destination for many jet-setters looking for a dream vacation. Now tourism is being touted as a potential tool for sustainable development in Africa too.
According to a new report by the United Nations World Tourism Organization, tourism is a big business in Africa and a great help to economic development. Between 2011 and 2014, tourism contributed about $166 billion to African GDP. It also created 21 million jobs, 7% of all jobs in Africa.
In our report, we argue that tourism merits attention, investment and development because it is fast-growing, it's dynamic, it contributes a lot to the continent's GDP, and it's very labor-intensive.
In the last 16 years, it's always good to remember that Africa has been one of the fastest growing tourism regions in the world.
58 million international tourists visited Africa in 2016, an increase of 4 million year-on-year. Tourism receipts grew by 8% to hit $16 billion. Tourism also is a big employer for young people and women and allows them to earn further skills such as languages. However, the UN believed more can still be done in order to take more potential benefits from tourism in Africa.
One is strengthening linkages with other sectors, because linkages are very diverse and that can contribute to economic diversification of the economies and create a lot of employment opportunities. And we also see that intra-African tourism matters. That helps to smoothen seasonality, to strengthen further these linkages and also contribute to social benefits like peace.
The agency also noted how tourism benefits local firms such as transport, agriculture, and craft sectors. To take full advantage of this, the agency suggested lifting visa requirements, currency restrictionism, and promoting an open skies policy.
Egypt has announced that the country will raise electricity prices by 18 to 42% based on consumption.
The Electricity and Energy Minister said the increase is part of the country's economic reform program, which aims to lift energy subsidies completely within a few years. The minister said that Egypt spent about $3.5 billion on electricity subsidies during the 2016-2017 fiscal year. The hike came a week after the government raised fuel prices by up to 55.3% and doubled the price of gas cylinder that is used at many homes and restaurants. The fuel and energy price hikes lead to price increase in almost all commodities and services in the most populous Arab country, affecting low-income citizens. Egypt has been struggling with its economy due to the political turmoil. The country implemented a 3-year economic reform program in exchange for a $12 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund.
Thai authorities have delayed the full enforcement of a new labor law introduced last week. Since new restrictions came in place, tens of thousands of foreign workers have fled the country, leaving some of the economy grinding to a halt.
On Tuesday, the Thai government updated its position on foreign workers. Migrant workers will now have 180 days to get their documents in order, and that enforcement of the new rules will be delayed. On June 23rd, Thailand used Section 44 of the Constitution to trigger harsher measures against illegal migrant workers. Companies faced fines of up to 800,000 bahts, or around $23,000, while workers could be jailed for up to 5 years. The law, which was aimed at tackling human trafficking and regulating foreign workers, instead sparked panic. Within a few days, more than 60,000 foreign workers fled back to their homelands, particularly to Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia. The exodus hit businesses, with factories unable to fill production lines and construction companies reporting empty building sites. On Tuesday, the Thai government softened its position, but said it will continue to combat illegal working.
The government has to solve human trafficking problem decisively, as it is also relevant to the illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, which could damage Thailand's reputation. If these problems are left unsolved, it would have impact on Thai economy, as some countries would no longer buy Thai goods.
Thailand has an estimated 2.6 million foreign workers, with around half estimated to be working illegally. Most are employed in low-paying or dangerous jobs such as construction, farming, and fishing.
Australia has posted a better-than-expected trade surplus in May. Economists considered it a positive sign for Australian economy.
According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, trade surplus reached 2.47 billion Australian dollars, or about $1.8 billion in May. Most economists predicted a figure somewhere around $840 million. The figure indicated an upward trend after April's surplus total was limited to about $421 million.
Yes, what we've seen is that in recent months, exports and the trade surplus have been buffeted by weather disruptions, particularly Cyclone Debbie. The big story has been that the surplus shrank sharply in April as coal shipments were delayed, and we saw a return to normal operations in May, and the surplus rebounded.
Although the news is overwhelmingly positive for Australia's economy, economists warn that consumer confidence is still dragging its heels.
Consumer spending hasn't been as strong as people might have expected. certainly we saw a lot of negative talk about the Australian economy's performance around the time of the March quarter national accounts, so it's probably overdone, and we'll certainly see some better results over the next 1 to 2 quarters in terms of growth performance.
Meanwhile, a latest report showed that job vacancies in Australia's mining sector have skyrocketed.
According to online job site Seek, Australian mining industry job vacancies rose 70% in May. The reason for the uptick is due to stronger industrial commodity prices like copper, coal, and iron ore.
Commodity prices, I think they're at their lowest point around the end of 2015, early 16, have tended to be much higher than they were at that time. If you look at the WA economy and also the Queensland economy, you can see that conditions have either stabilised or improved on the back of that sort of high commodity price story relative to those lows.
Although the resurgence in the resources sector has renewed optimism in Australia's economy, certain skill shortages are emerging again. The mining sector is also making moves to further diversify the workforce.
Turning to China, the People's Bank of China, or the central bank, said Thursday that the financial market will focus on market-oriented reforms this year.
According to the China Financial Market Development Report 2016, unveiled by the central bank, market-based industry rate reform will be further promoted. The report says market-oriented interest rate formation, regulation, and transmission mechanism will be improved to enhance central bank's regulatory capacity on interest rates. The country will also raise the efficiency of the central bank operations, including standing lending facility, medium-term lending facility, and reverse repos. According to a report released by China Robot Industry Alliance, China remained the largest market for industrial robots in 2016, with sales rising by 26.6% year-on-year to nearly 89,000. The advanced robots represented by multi-joint robots account for 61.5% of total sales, and the market share of domestic-made robots reached 33%. China is spreading the use of industrial robots in sectors including car manufacturing, aviation, and home appliances. The report says 3C industry, computers, communications, and consumer electronics will hopefully become the largest application field of industrial robots in the next 3 to 5 years. China's Ministry of Commerce said Thursday that trade remedy investigations into Chinese products came down markedly around the world in the first half of the year, but were still at a high level. 15 countries and regions initiated a total of 37 investigations involving goods worth $5.3 billion, down from 65 cases worth $8.5 billion during the same period of 2016. The ministry says despite the decline, the numbers are still high compared with the average during the past 5 years. Of the total, 32 were anti-subsidy or anti-dumping investigations, and the remainder were related to safeguarding measures.
U.S. Oregon State Governor Kate Brown has signed a resolution to advance economic and trade ties with China.
The resolution makes Oregon the first U.S. state that encourages continued collaboration with China for trade and economic development.
We, the members of the 79th Legislative Assembly, actively support continued coordination and collaboration between Oregon and China to increase trade opportunities and strengthen a mutual economic development relationship.
The measure was passed in unanimous vote by both House and Senate of the State Legislative Assembly. According to the resolution, China is now Oregon's biggest trade partner. Over 20,000 jobs in Oregon benefit from trade with China, and China is Oregon's #1 source of international visitors, with more than 60,000 Chinese citizens visiting the state each year.
The 50 states of U.S. and all the Chinese provinces have worked hard and hand in hand to make this happen, to enhance mutually beneficial cooperation step by step, to strengthen the foundation of bilateral relations from the subnational level. That is state to province, city to city level, so as to benefit people of both countries.
The U.S. West Coast state benefits a lot from its exports to China, with products ranging from computers, agricultural goods, and chemicals.
Turning now to some company news. American software giant Microsoft Corporation reportedly has begun sending layoff notices to employees.
The move involves thousands of jobs in sales and marketing operations. Most will be among its workforce of about 50,000 people outside the U.S. Although media reports about its reorganization have been around since Monday, the company has not confirmed any detail. Microsoft currently has about 120,000 employees worldwide. However, it is increasingly turning to cloud computing for access by PC users to subscribe its software services, rather than selling its software as a product at a one-time cost. Samsung has posted its biggest ever quarterly profit thanks to surging global demand for memory chips. The South Korean tech giant reported an operating profit of about $12 billion in the 3 months to June, up 72% on year earlier. Sales climbed 18%, buoyed by strong sales of smartphones, including the new flagship Galaxy S8. Analysts say the results indicate Samsung has recovered from the disastrous Galaxy Note 7 recall. The handset was axed after battery fault led to some devices catching fire.
云天无际，承载梦想。中国南方航空是中国运输飞机最多、航线网络最发达、年客运量最大的航空公司。亚洲第一，全球第三，是南航缔造的业界奇迹。 蓝天壮志情，云海谱华章。
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group.
投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
同心地产，芝加哥最大的华人中介团队，无论是家居或是商业地产，给你带来全方位的最佳服务。
Hi, this is Little Chinese Channel, 小小中文 Lesson 32. In this lesson, we will be learning these 6 Chinese characters. From the last lesson, we learned the character Jing. If we put a dot on the bottom, this character is Ling. Ling. Ling means order or command. Ming Ling. Ming Ling. Ming Ling. Ming Ling means order or command. Ling is part of these 2 characters. Time for a new root character. What's this? Jing, jing, jing means a unit of weight. That is 0.5 kilograms. 2斤, 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 2斤 is equal to 1 kilogram. If we take the vertical stroke out and put in 8 coal from lesson 13, it turns into ho, ho, ho means rear. 后面, 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 后面 means rear. 后灯后灯后灯后灯 is rear lights. Time for a new road character. Have a R from lesson 1 and 3 dots. What's this? Li. Li. Li means to stand. 站立. 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 站立 means to be standing. If we put in a 时 that we learned from lesson 1 at the bottom, this character is 辛. 辛 means hardworking. 辛苦 辛苦 means hardworking. We take this out, the shirt out, and place a from lesson 22. This character is 音 means sound. 声音 means sound. 音乐 means music. Okay, it's time to write. Remember when you're writing to follow the stroke sequence. Li. 金 后 力 心 音